So how are you spending your time? Now this is in the book. I don't know if you've had a chance to look at this or do anything with the red, black, blue model. The red work is the non-client facing work, the back office stuff, the stuff you just have to do. It's the cost of being in business. So doing expenses and performance reviews and all that stuff. But the red work is the client facing work, such as account management and networking. The blue work is the strategic blue sky thinking time, the things that you do to invest in the future of your firm. So business planning, it could also be attending conferences to gain insight into the future and trends. But often your leadership responsibilities fall in here. To have a time and space to focus on your business, you need to change how you work. You need to get away from working in your business in order to work on your business. Your aim is to increase the time that you spend doing blue work and ditch, delegate, or do differently on the black and red work. The more chargeable you are, the less time you can grow your business. So I don't know if you were on the surgery call with Paul last week, but he doesn't spend a lot of time in his business. He has people doing things for him. He spends time in that blue sky thinking and talking with potential clients and thinking about the direction that he wants to go. He's quite creative about coming up with new ideas and client seminars, and he never has a problem with getting business in. He always has to turn people away. He's got so much business that comes in, but he works on his business rather than in his business. So identify what you shouldn't be doing and take action to change it. You need to free up at least 8 hours of your time each week so you can work on your business. So finding an extra 8 hours a day. I see that Shabazz has said he does think about business on weekends. Hopefully we can get you not thinking about business on weekends and just relaxing on weekends, and that creativity will generate some ideas. But we want to help you find an extra 8 hours a week. So how can we do that? So sorting out your personal productivity gaps, you need to identify and fix where those gaps are. So are your habits limiting you from being super productive? For example, are you spending too much time on social media or on emails? Is there a reluctance to delegate work? Saying no to people that want you to do things because it just takes up more of your time and isn't aligned with your own growth plans. So is there an issue around saying no? Ditching your unprofitable clients. So twice a year doing a client portfolio analysis to identify where your firm is losing money on this and then exiting those unprofitable clients. Outsourcing your compliance work. So outsourcing what you don't need to do will help you to free up time to move your practice forward. Hiring in the right people, so hiring in staff with the right skills to take work off you and to increase your practice's capability. Auditing how you spend your time. So conducting that audit using the red, black, blue model is a good way to look at what you're doing and what you can ditch, delegate, or do differently. And finally, delegating effectively. So delegating to staff to gain more time to work on your business. But if your staff aren't competent, then either develop their capability or manage them out of the business. Because you need competent, capable, committed staff that will help you grow your business. So shifting your mindset. The same old way of thinking, you'll get the same old results. So you need to reduce the demands on you from your staff and your clients. Some common excuses that business leaders have for why they don't delegate to their staff is only I can do this. Well, letting go of this view and engaging your staff is really important. Give your staff a development stretch to work on things that you're working on, and this will give you time back and give them an opportunity to step up. It's easier and quicker if I do the work myself. So this mindset keeps you stuck working in the practice rather than on the practice. It might take them longer to do the work, but it will give you more time. And with practice and support, your staff will be able to do it quicker. It also increases their capability and your firm's capability. I can do the work better than my staff. So you want to do the best job you can for your clients. You may be concerned about the quality of the work would slip by letting someone else do the work. You need to ensure you've got the right people with the right skills to do the work. But if you don't, develop them so they're competent and they can do the work, or manage them out of the business and replace them with people who are competent to do the work. My staff don't get it. Often it's that staff aren't effectively briefed on how to take on the work. show them how to do that, support them in giving it a go, provide constructive feedback, supervise in making any adjustments necessary, and then let them run with it. Think about it as having a scaffolding for a building. So you're giving them something that they haven't done before, and you provide that scaffold to their learning with the right support. And eventually you can take the scaffold away and they can do it on their own. Give them the opportunity to develop new skills and develop themselves in their career. My staff might make mistakes. So delegating effectively, you can manage risks and build in controls. And we'll look at that in a few minutes. And another excuse is my staff just don't care. If this really is an issue, you need to consider letting them go and giving the staff that you deserve. So these are excuses of people who don't want to or don't know how to just let go and let their staff do the jobs responsibly. Your business needs you, but not every single day. So consider time away an opportunity for everyone to take a step up in terms of responsibility and developing their skills. Shifting your mindset is what you need in order to have time to grow your practice and work fewer hours. Anyone have one of these buttons on their keyboard? I'll tell you how to get one. It's about delegating effectively. So delegating effectively is a learned skill. It's one that will take some adjustment, but it's really worth persevering at, because if you can't free up time by delegating, you will be forever stuck in working in your practice, not working on your practice. And you won't be able to achieve the business growth and the personal goals that you want. So think about what tasks take up more time than you can afford. What tasks do you do yourself because you just like doing them? What tasks can be done by one or more of your team? What tasks cause problems when you're away because nobody else can do them and they rely on you to do them? And what tasks do you do that you could delegate to give somebody else a development opportunity? So in delegating effectively, you want to set expectations, setting clear objectives, performance standards, outcomes, and what you expect for the person taking on the role. You want to be clear about what needs to be done. So what needs to be done, why, and when. Then when you're giving out the work, ask the person to reflect back what he or she is supposed to accomplish to ensure that the goals and the desired outcome is achieved. Establish boundaries and the amount of time or money to spend. Identify the risks. So when you're delegating a responsibility for the first time, identify the risks in what you're delegating and put in an action plan and some sort of structure to minimize those risks. Monitor risks, particularly of high risk areas. Get regular updates and check on how things are going. So just sort of supervising and communicating and keeping track of what's happening. Using management by exception. So once you've had a plan of action agreed with the person you're delegating to, agree when you'll have a progress update and what to do when a problem occurs. So this allows your staff to just get on with the work, and it allows you to step in if anything deviates from that idea. So when you do need to step in, build contingency plans to allow these staff to manage work if they get off track. The idea is not to be a firefighter yourself, but to enable your staff to fight fires on their own, with you only stepping in when absolutely necessary. So give your staff the space to solve the issues themselves. And if they have exhausted all the resources and they still can't resolve the issues, then you can step in. But you're also monitoring and these risks. So you're not just letting them off on their own, but you're monitoring them and kind of just taking a high level view, keeping that communication open, getting progress updates, and letting them get on with the work. Building in controls. So this is about building controls to ensure the work stays on track. So spend, budget limits, milestones that need to hit, and any KPIs. And get regular feedback and updates. Agree this up front when you hand over the work. How often do you want to get progress updates? And how often do they want you to come in and give feedback on their work? Or how often do you want to come in and review their work and give feedback on their work? So agree that beforehand. And review and debrief. So assess how the outcome turned out and debrief the process, the decisions that were made, and the approach to problem solving. One of the benefits of doing this is it helps you to build trust so that you'll feel more comfortable delegating. And it also builds their confidence. Doing this will also allow you to pull out any learnings and rejig things if they need to happen in a different way. So delegating well by active coaching. When you're delegating work, view yourself as a coach. You want to explain the rules of play, what's expected in terms of outcome and behavior, and give feedback from the sidelines. You rarely see a sports coach take over a player's position on the field. Occasionally they do, but it's a rarity. They normally stay on the lines, observe, and provide feedback. Sometimes they shout. We don't want to go into that, but providing feedback in a positive way and advise. So actively coaching from the sideline means that providing that feedback, that praise, the advice, and sometimes talking about their work and getting their own perspective and their thought processes. So why did you do things this way? Let's just talk about that a little bit and get their perspectives. It also means celebrating achievements and successes, in their efforts in developing new skills and knowledge. Mistakes happen, so when things don't go well, use the opportunity as a teaching moment. Talk with them about what happened, what they were thinking and why they made the decisions they did. People often learn more from making a mistake than actually at arriving at the correct answer initially. Make sure your players know how to play and they get the practice and training they need to build their skills. When you delegate a new task, keep in mind that the person you're delegating to is learning how to do it, which means the task will take more time. And so your expectations need to be realistic and not measured by how quickly you can actually accomplish the task. The point is you're trying to delegate and get somebody else to do the task, so it frees up your time. So it might take them longer. Eventually, they'll get quicker. Your staff will develop their own skills and problem-solving ability. The more competent they become, the more work they can take off you. And that gives you the time to focus on growing your business. So yeah, minimizing interruptions. To have a time and space that you need to work on your practice, you need to minimize interruptions from your team, your staff, and your clients. So some tips on doing that is switching off your phone and putting it on silent. Turning off notifications, email, phone, social media. So you don't get distracted with a new ping notification or an email that comes through. Close any applications you're not currently using. Blocking time in your diary out and letting your staff know you're busy. So it's kind of like a virtual do not disturb sign. You can also put up a physical do not disturb sign. Some people do that. But you're more likely to ignore distractions if you've got a defined amount of time set aside. So set aside time in your diary where it just says, I'm working on the business. And then people are more likely not to interrupt you. Work somewhere else. So work in another office or a meeting room. You don't actually need to leave the building. You can just work somewhere else so you're not as easily accessible. Or get out to the office and work from home or go for a walk. Get to the office earlier. This is one thing my husband actually does. He gets to the office. He's in there by 7 o'clock every morning in Canary Wharf. And he likes going in because he doesn't get disturbed and he can just get work done. So getting to the office earlier, if that's a possibility, then you can carve out some time before other people get into the office. And being assertive and telling people, look, I'm just not available right now. Can we schedule a time to talk later? Learn to say not now and to say no, or let's sort something later. And if it's hard to say no, then practice how you can say no to make it easier. Supercharging your creativity. Your productivity. I can't drink water and look at the slide at the same time, obviously. Minimize interruptions and distractions. So we've just talked about ways how to do this. So minimize interruptions and distractions, number 1. 2 is know and understand your natural productivity rhythm. So what time of day works best for you? When are you most productive? Some people are more productive in the morning, and some have more energy and work better in the evening. There's a lot of research on alternating rhythms, which is the cycle of natural energy peaks and valleys that are repeated through a 24-hour cycle. At night, the rhythm is associated with different stages of sleep, but during the day, it corresponds with different levels of energy and alertness. Each cycle lasts about 2 hours. The brain works at its best for 90 to 120 minutes before it needs a break. So just sitting and just hammering out a session for hours and hours isn't very productive. Your brain needs time to just have a little bit of a break. So spend 90 minutes of really focused time and then take a break. Doing something completely different, like going for a walk or having a cup of tea, or just getting away from your desk, away from the work, and taking a break. Psychologist Anders Ericsson did some famous research in 1993 on violinists, and he found that the best violinists all practice the same way. In the morning, in 3 increments of no more than 90 minutes, and each one had a break in between. He discovered the same pattern among other musicians, athletes, chess players, and writers. He looked at conservatory students and saw that the future recording artists, the future first chairs, practiced more than any other musicians, but they did so in a consistent, deliberate manner. And they slept more, about an hour more a day than any of the others, usually a nap in the afternoon. Now, I'm not suggesting a nap is going to be the best way in the middle of your day, sort of popping down a cot in your office and having a nap. But the point is to think about ways that you can relax and let your brain recharge, and that will help your productivity. Play to your strengths. So do what you do naturally well, and then build a team around you to fill in the gaps. So if you're not a detail person, get someone who's naturally strong in detail to manage all the details. Block out your diary. We've covered this in the last slide, but it's important that we add it here as well, just to reinforce the point. If you want to be ultra productive, block out time in your diary to work on your practice. It is that virtual do not disturb sign that gives you time out and ensures that that time is reserved for strategic planning and you won't start doing other things. Set aside time to focus first thing in the morning. So if you can, and that's when you work best, first thing in the morning, focus on your business. Spend an hour or two doing that. If you can, get out to the office, get to the office for everyone else, and that way you won't get disturbed and you can focus. So we've already talked about that, but it's a good thing just to plan that time in. Stop meetings from eating up your day. Set aside specific times of day which are available for meetings, and try to corral those meetings into this zone rather than spreading out throughout the day. Limit email time. To make a point of checking and responding to email just a couple of specific times, maybe in the morning, in the afternoon, but not just letting email overwhelm you and these notification pings and feeling that you need to respond. Delegate. So think about what you're busy doing, which another person could or perhaps should do. And finally, rest, relax, and recharge. So ensure you're getting enough sleep and exercise to relax or energize yourself, whichever way it does to you, even if it's just going out for a walk. Take time out for holidays and breaks. It's so important to take time away from your business to not only give your brain a chance to rest and get creative and come up with ideas and solutions for your business, but also to look after your own health and well-being. Rest is actually a skill. Just like breathing is a skill for singers, we can all learn to do it better. But you need to both work and rest to be at your best. So Shabazz said, should I block out a full day or break it up? You can break it up. Just make sure if you break it up, you leave a good chunk of time. So maybe a half a day and then another half a day, or a good 3 hours. Because what you might find is you get a rhythm going and you get some ideas going for your business. And then all of a sudden you've got a meeting right afterwards. So ideally, if you just had one day, you can just focus on that. And that allows you to free up from other distractions. If that's not possible, try for a half a day. And if that's still not possible, then try to get 3 hours. Even if you have to get in early, get 3 hours. And then see if you can expand that to half a day. See if you can expand that to a full day. Because Shabazz said, I quite do Friday afternoons and I want to push into Friday full day. So that's brilliant. Having a full day Friday would be an excellent way to go. And it just gives you that whole day to think about your business. You create that virtual sort of whiteboard. What can you do? Where do you want your business to go? What needs to happen within your business to get that growth that you want.